Good morning, Amy. How are you doing?
Hi, sir. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very good, very good. So we just learned about functions, inverse of functions, and in the last class about the composite functions, right?
Right.
So that
Yeah.
brings us to the end of this particular unit. I think you got fairly good idea about what functions are and how do we really work with them. Now, these
Yeah,
functions are
definitely.
these functions are very useful to model real life situations, and therefore our expertise on working with them will help us while moving forward. So till
hmm
now, is everything clear to you? Did you try some questions from your book or exam test
Yes,
papers?
I did many exam questions, and I can't seem to find any, all those questions that I was asking before and ages ago. I'm not really coming across any. So I think I've covered most of the concepts in this, and even the exam questions, they're quite similar to the ones I've been doing. So yeah,
Excellent.
I think I'm quite confident with this one. So yeah, I'm
Right.
happy.
So whichever you think are slightly more tricky and where you might need my help, you can we can discuss those in today's class. But today's will be the last class on this particular topic,
Yeah,
and then we'll move on to the next unit. Is that clear?
sounds great. Thank you.
Okay. So you can now share the screen, and then we'll answer some of your questions.
Yeah, so I think this was from my book. It was just a quick review of all the questions.
Hmm.
My section. Just pick that up here. So
Okay.
I
So
think
you
if you
can
do one, they're all quite similar after. But yeah, these are just exam questions.
right. So wherever you want to start, shall we take this piecewise function? What is this talking about? Question number 23.
All right. So from the last one, the function f has domain where x is between -5 and 7, both included, and is linear from -5 to 6 to -3 to -2, and then from -3 to -2, to 7 to 18.
Mhm.
Sorry. Yeah. The diagram shows a sketch of the function. Part A, write down the range of f.
Yeah, that's simple. Can you tell me range of f?
Yes,
Hmm.
from -2 to 18.
That's correct. So you can directly read from here, right? Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, next part.
Part B, find f of f -3. So
So that means,
function of function.
yeah, function of function. So that means you have to write the equation of these two curves. So basically what you notice here is that this is a piecewise function, right? So you'll say
Yes.
f of x is split into two pieces. One of them is we can write here from x, which is greater than equal to, because those points are included, -5 to
-2
-3.
from
And the other one is uh, from -3
to 7.
to 7. Now, the equations are linear equations. So you can write down the linear equation once you know the 2 points, correct?
Yeah.
So so that's very simple. You can say y2 minus y1. So let's find out the equation of line 1 will be what? You go write -2 minus of 6, that is y2 minus y1, divided
Yeah.
by x2 minus x1, which is -3 minus of -6. So that becomes the slope of the first line, correct? Or
Right.
you can use point slope formula. So you get the first equation. Let's write down around equation 1, and then you will get the second equation, correct? So once
Yeah.
you have these two equations, you know what the function is. And when you want to find what is f of -3, so you know f of -3, you can directly read from here in this particular case is -2. So you can say f of -3 is basically equals to f of -3 is -2. And so at -2, you can see probably this is the x-intercept for the particular graph, right? So you get this value as equal to 0, right? So if it
Yeah.
is a scale diagram, that gives you the idea. However, if you have the equation in that case, then it will be the second equation, which is within this interval, that will give you the right answer, correct?
hmm Yeah.
That is how we are going to solve this particular question.
Wait,
Okay.
so when you had the f of the -3, do
Mhm.
I need to put that into which equation?
Yeah. So first thing first, you say f of -3, right? Now this we can directly read here because the point is given.
Oh, it's -2,
Here
and then
f
I
of
look at the
minus
domain.
2, right?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But yeah, then you can simply work on the second part. So that will save some time for you.
Oh, but
Yeah.
if I wasn't given the coordinate point or the graph, then
Yeah, it is better to work because you are not precisely, you don't know what this point is, correct?
okay,
So,
yeah.
so it's better to write down the equations using your formulas which you've learned. You could use Points law formula also, right? So, which
All
is
right, okay.
you could use any of those formulas to figure this out, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's read the first question, which is question 22. Can you please read that question?
Yes. So the diagram shows part of the curve with the equation y equals fx,
Mhm.
where f of x is x squared minus 7x plus 5. Oh,
Right,
5
and
and then x plus 8,
yeah,
where x is greater than 0.
correct.
The points A and B are the stationary points of the curve.
Hmm.
Part A, using calculus and showing you're working, find the coordinates of the points A and B.
Correct, using calculus. So it is kind of an advanced question at this stage. We will be doing calculus later, right? So, but calculus is finding derivatives. So basically, you'll find derivative of
D1,
this
dx.
and equate it to zero, right? So when you equate it
Yeah,
to zero, the derivative, then you get your answer, correct? So
but it's
derivative
got
of zero,
ln in it.
yeah, that is why I'm not doing it for you because you haven't done the derivatives of the logarithmic functions, right?
No. Oh,
So that
okay.
is why we'll skip it for later. Is that clear to
All
you?
right.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, you could have done this, right? So we'll
Right.
do this now later on. Okay. So let's move on to the next question.
Um, yeah. There's some random ones here.
Okay. Anyone? I think absolute functions also are very typical questions. We can take up one of them. This involves, I think, fraction also. 1 over 3x I'm seeing here. So that
Yeah.
might be slightly more difficult than the other one. So can you please read this and let's try to understand this?
Yeah. So sketch the graph of y equals the absolute function of x minus 2a, where a is a positive constant.
Mhm.
Show the coordinates of the points where the graph meets the axes.
Mhm.
Part B, using algebra, solve for x in terms of a, where the absolute function of x minus 2a is a third x.
Yeah.
And then finally, part C, on a separate diagram, sketch the graph of y equals a minus absolute function of x minus 2a.
Yeah, so that involves actually transformation of functions. It's a good mix of the questions here. So we have seen how these functions and our knowledge will be later used in calculus, right? So we had
Right.
example on finding the derivatives. Now here we have transformation of the functions, absolute function. Do you know how will you sketch this? Can you help me out?
So if it was without all of this minus 2a thing, it would just be like a V shape through the origin. But because it's minus 2a, we know that it moves. Um, See, the thing is, if I don't know if a is a positive constant. Okay, I
We
was
have
just
written.
about to say if it was negative, it would be a different thing.
Yes, he is
Okay, so it moves 2a units to the right.
that is right. So this point is
Yeah.
two.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's what they want. You should not write A there, right? It is 2A units, right? Using algebra, solve this for X in terms of this particular equation. Now we know the equation, we can easily solve this, right?
Do
So
we
first,
need to show the y-intercept, or is that not needed? Because I don't know a.
well, if you put y x equals to 0, then the
Yeah.
y-intercept will be 2A also.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, it is a good point. You should show, right?
Okay.
Let's put that also. Is that clear to you?
Yeah.
That is complete, right? Now, let's do the second part. How will you answer the second part where it says that uh, x minus 2a equals to one third of x?
Mm. So won't you have two solutions? So you'll have x minus 2a equals a third x, and then you'll have minus x, so minus the absolute function, so minus x plus 2a equals a third x.
Very good.
And then you solve.
Perfect. So that is what you're going to do. Two answers. It's an absolute function. We basically are trying to say is that when on the right hand side it is one third of an x. That means basically it is a straight line which goes through the origin and it has a slope of 1/3, right? So
Right.
we can actually sketch this line that really helps as like this. Do you see this line going? So that gives you two solutions. One of them is right there. Do you see that? So
Yes. Yeah.
it is these 2 points whose coordinates we need. And when you solve
Um,
these two equations, you will get those 2 points. Is that clear to you?
yes.
That
Yeah.
is how you're going to solve it. Very, very good. So you should try this out. If there's difficulty, we can further look into this. Okay, so this type of question is clear to you. So what else? Next.
Yes. Um, yeah.
You
So
can
these are
take a
just a nice
you,
quick
you can take a
overview.
picture of this. That will help you because
Oh,
that
perfect. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't really attempted these ones, but it's good to just quickly like. I find this really helpful. Just going through it and then
Right.
seeing how you would approach it.
Correct.
So yeah. Again with the transformations, yeah, I think we talked about this tan graph. We haven't come across trig yet, so we'll
Yeah.
just
So
leave.
trigonometric functions we'll do later, as with
Yeah,
exponential function. That's correct. So now
we
let's
can
look
just.
into this composition of this is inverse of functions. Okay. So can you please read question number 14? Circled must be a good question, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the functions f and g are given by where f is x over x minus 2, um, where x is not equal to 2, and then with g where it's 3 over x and x is not equal to 0.
Mhm.
So part A, find an expression for the inverse function of f.
Yeah. Correct. And then
Part
write down range of this.
B, yeah, find the range. And then part C, calculate g of f of 1.5. And then part D, use algebra to find the values of x for which g of x equals f of x plus 4.
Correct. So they really did not ask about domain range of the function itself. Correct.
Yeah,
Now, they have not asked for it, but still, what I
right.
feel is that you should write. So we
Yeah,
will begin with the function itself and say the function here is given to us as x over x minus 2. And in this particular function, the value domain is that that domain is given that x is not equal to 2, right? So we're just writing for ourselves, right? And the
okay, yeah,
range is the y value is not equal to 1. That is your horizontal asymptote, the coefficients of x in this, correct?
right,
Right.
yeah,
So that is the domain range, and that really helps you to directly answer one of these questions, which is part B. Now, part B says what is the range of f inverse x, right? So, what is the range of f inverse x? So, range of f inverse x is actually the domain of the
yeah.
function, right? So it helps,
So
right? So we say, well, the range is that the y value belongs to the real numbers. However, the y value is not equal to 2. Is
equal
this
to
clear to
2.
you? So
Yeah,
we
yeah,
have answered one of the questions by doing this, and that is why I feel it is very important to look into the function given to us, analyze that function, and then move
yeah,
forward. Is that clear to you? And
yeah, yeah.
it really helped us because it solved part B. Now the second part is to write the expression for the inverse. So how will you find inverse of this function, Amy? Can you guide me?
Yes, so y equals to x over x minus 2, and then just swap
Yeah.
the x for y and the y for x,
Yeah.
multiply it, yep. So xy minus 2x equals y, then xy, yep, and then take y common, and then divide. Y equals 2x over x minus 1.
Perfect.
So
So
the
we got
inverse is
the
that.
inverse of the function. This is the inverse of this function, right? And then we can
Yep,
write it like this. Perfect. And now we can easily answer the other part of this. We got part A, and then g of f of x, right? So
yeah.
f of 1.5, that was simple, right? So we just put
Just sub the
g
1.5
of, yeah, sub in 1.5. So it is
into f.
1.5 over 1.5 minus 2, correct? That is zero point 0.5. So we'll get 1.5 is what? 3 by 2, right? So I like to work with fractions actually. Divided by, now this is also minus half, right? 1.5 minus 2 is minus half. So you'll get a
So
negative answer times 2, and that is negative 3.
minus
So,
3. Yeah,
so we have g of minus 3. So you can plug in minus 3 in the function, which is 3
minus
over
1.
minus 3, which is minus 1. So you get your answer for this also. Is it clear to you?
Yes. Yeah.
Use algebra to find the value of x for which g of x is equals to f of x plus 4. So that's simple. We just write 3 over x equals to x over x minus 2, right? So that is the
Nine
function plus
plus four,
4, correct? So that is your function.
and
Just
then so
multiply by the common denominator and solve, correct? So we get
yeah.
3 times x minus 2 equals to x square, right? Plus 4 times x, let me write x square minus 2x. Is that clear to you? Right?
Yeah.
And then you can just expand simply from
So
it.
yeah.
You can take a picture of this, and then that might just guide you while you're working with it, right? So we have an approach here to solve this particular equation. So I guess that kind of gives you good confidence level that yes, you do
Yeah.
understand how to solve these examination type questions, correct?
Yes, for sure. When I was looking at this, like literally 2 lessons ago, I was thinking, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to understand this. No, like genuinely, I was like, this is not going to happen because these are so heavy marked and I don't really get how to like go around it. But
Yeah.
then after just honestly like 3 lessons or literally two, I could answer all of them. So I was quite
Right.
shocked. Yeah.
Right. So based on our learnings, actually, I prepared objective type multiple choice test paper for you. I'm going
Oh,
to
okay.
upload that test paper, and then later you can sit and answer those questions, and then we
All
can
right. Okay.
from there we'll understand like what else you could have learned, right? That's how we
Yeah.
here. And I have covered these kind of questions that should really help you, right?
Yes,
I think
definitely.
we'll
Thank you, sir.
end this lesson here for today, and we'll begin with the the new chapter now. Okay. So in
All
your
right.
book, what is the next chapter? Can you tell me, please? We'll stop
Yes.
sharing the screen. Yeah.
Okay. Let me just stop sharing. Um, the next chapter. It's because we did it in a weird order. We started with Unit 2 first as
Unit two. Yeah.
functions and graph, but
Correct.
then
Unit
the
three.
first one,
What is the unit three for you in your book?
it's sequences and series.
Okay.
So arithmetic sequences, geometric sequences, sum to infinity, sigma notation, recurrence relations, and modeling with series.
Correct. So we can do that later. And what is the next chapter? Nothing related to functions?
Um, no, I think you. Oh wait, no, I don't know. After Unit 4 it says binomial expansions and stuff,
Okay.
partial fractions, which was the first topic as well, like algebraic fractions and stuff. Then there's
Correct.
radians, that's more to do with circles and
Trigonometric.
trig.
Right.
Then trig functions, and then trigonometric modeling. So there's a lot of trig after that, and
Okay.
then again a bit more trig.
Moderate. So
Yeah.
I think in year 13, you'll have a lot of trigonometry. So it
Mm,
give you a good idea to jump onto trigonometry uh,
okay.
from here onwards, and then we can get back to the other units. What do you think?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's a good plan because the other ones seem like quite not easy, but I think just because the other ones, like you said, the trig is literally in every kind of unit, you might
Yes.
as well target that one that's heavy
That's
weighted.
true. Because we
Yeah,
skipped many questions based on trigonometry on functions, and we know we are going to see it heavy on calculus. So
right,
during this time, because year 13 is yet to start, so we need to prepare something. So trigonometry will be a very good idea to do it now. So in our next lesson, we'll talk about trigonometry, right? So we'll end our
right.
class here today. I hope that was good. We have a plan for the week now, correct?
Yes,
In
definitely.
a couple
Okay,
of classes, I'll cover up trigonometry for you. Okay?
perfect. Should I send you everything, sir, with the
Yes, yes.
scan version?
Yeah, you
Okay.
can send me about whatever you have on trigonometry. I'll plan the
Oh,
lesson accordingly. Yeah.
perfect. Okay. Thank you so
All right.
much, sir. I appreciate it.
Bye
Thank
and
you.
all the best. Okay.
You too. Thanks, sir. Bye.
Yeah. So I will stop the recording now.